Belle de Jour, in the artistic trajectory of Louis Bunuel, seems to be one of the most perfect accomplishments of the image of desire. In Belle de Jour, more than in his other films, almost every scene is engraved with desire. Under multiple facets, it is therefore a powerful metaphor. Seguin, wife of a surgeon, idle and probably frigid, explores her sexual desires by going to a brothel in an effort to work through past traumas and establish a better connection to her husband. The gaping hole of a desire that nothing could sew up if not the relaunch of the same desire.
J'ai une idée. Si vous vous appeliez Belle de Jour.
Belle de Jour?
Comme vous ne venez que l'après-midi.
Oui, si vous voulez.
Despite appearances, it isn't this story that brings the desire to speak, but it seems to us these various forms taken by narration, mise-en-scene elements, and space. The elements such as color, the red and green shades, objects, chairs in particular, and sound, which are orchestrated in film not on a surface level, yet pushed back and repressed by other elements and the story. In this video, I will look at the film through the lens of psychoanalysis by emphasizing its mise-en-scene. The film ends where it starts, on a floor strewn with leaves and crossed by a carriage, the same as the first one but without the passengers, Seguin and Pierre. The opening scene reveals the couple's problems, the wife's denial to respond to her husband's desire despite her love, saturated by hoofs of horses and unsourced sounds of bell connoting desires. The scene that ends in a rape ordered by Pierre turns us to be Seguin's sadomasochistic fantasy, which is interrupted by a male voiceover that says,
À quoi penses-tu?
Je pensais à toi.
Her husband's voice, which brings her back to quote-unquote real life, repeats, or return if you will, at the end, yet conflicts with its own logic.
À quoi penses-tu, Séverine?
Je pensais à toi, Pierre.
Instead of moving the female character and the viewers away from a dream and bringing them back to the real world, it sutures the fantasy and dream into the world of the narration, which misleads and confuses the audience. The ending scene features the same soundtrack and a celebratory gesture from the couple, as well as the sounds of cats, alluding to her opening line that says, Pierre, please don't let the cats out. Cured, wild cats tame, Seguin is back to her husband's arm after passing through a psychoanalysis journey displayed in the film. But is she really? Through this looped construction, the film would be transcription of Seguin's dream. First on the defensive, then little by little a spectator of a life she no longer controls. The young wife would then have imagined all the scenes we had just gone through, and we would have been the hostage of her dream. This hypothesis would be confirmed by following the subtle and repressed element of mise-en-scene. Bunuel's playing with different elements of mise-en-scene and transforming the whole film into a clinical psychoanalysis session, marked by chain of colors, objects, and sound, which all follow the characters in her process of revealing her repressed memories and emotions in a therapeutic setting. For instance, the role color plays in the film, the color red applies to the objects and spaces which connotes the heroine's unconventional desire and fantasies in the realm of the imaginary, while its complementary green is applied to objects associated with her sessions to confront her trauma in the symbolic order. I would argue, using psychoanalysis theory, Bunuel shifts the world of fantasy and real not through the conventional cinematic techniques, but through moving and displacing objects and colors throughout the mise-en-scene. In doing so, the director and the film both are repressing the viewer's desire and their identification with the character. The jouissance here is a slippery moment that lies in the gap between the imaginary and the real.